we're going to take a look at the streaming side of the business, and that brings us to a look back at this day in history, all the way back to 1928, when MGM's Leo the Lion roared for the first time. The mascot for the pioneering Hollywood studio traces his roots all the way back to 1924, and the three-way merger of Marcus Lowe's Metro Films combined with a studio run by Samuel Goldwyn and a separate company run by the Hollywood legend Louis B. Mayer. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer would make a mark instantly. More than 100 movies produced in 1925 and 1926 alone, including the silent classic Ben-Hur. But it was on this day in 1928, July 31st, when MGM finally embraced talkies with the film White Shadows on the South Seas, which used a pre-recorded soundtrack and synchronized sound that allowed the audience to hear spoken actor dialogue for the very first time. While White Shadows was met with mixed reviews, MGM would go on to produce some of the most beloved films of all time: Grand Hotel, An American in Paris, Dr. Zhivago, Dances with Wolves, and of course the piece de resistance was 1939's Gone with the Wind, which on an inflation-adjusted basis remains the highest-grossing film ever made. But despite MGM's commercial and artistic success, the studio began drifting in and out of financial distress in the second half of the century. Ownership changes were frequent and often complicated and included tenures under buyout king Kirk Kerkorian, media mogul Ted Turner, and briefly a consortium led by Sony. After a 2010 bankruptcy, the company struggled to regain its footing. And then in 2022, 94 years after Leo the Lion first roared, Jeff Bezos stepped in, plunking down $8.5 billion to buy the company, a deal, when announced, that came amid a proliferation of streaming services like HBO Max and Disney Plus, which were all putting pressure on Amazon to acquire more programming for its still fledgling Prime Video platform. Now, that MGM deal did what it was intended to do, a massive accelerant, taking the few hundred hours worth of TV shows and movies that Amazon was producing on its own and adding 25,000 hours of a backlog of MGM content that included the rights to the iconic film franchises like James Bond. While Amazon doesn't break out financials for MGM on its own, we do know that the studio has become a big part of its strategy around Prime, a strategy designed to keep consumers tethered to the ever-sprawling Amazon ecosystem.